Stay tuned until the end to see the community entries for this month's Rebel Base Build Art Challenge. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm James and this is the Rebel Base Builds. On this episode we scratch build a mech out of pretty much anything I could get my hands on. Coffee pods, broken toys, Lego pieces? Now I love the mechanical nature of mechs and I've been inspired by many films and TV shows over the years on this one. No 3D printers or laser cutters this time guys, let's check out the build. I've been known to build one or two dioramas on this channel before, and I've used a good mix of contemporary tools such as my resin printer, my laser cutter. However, this time I wanted to get back to basics, so I spent a good amount of time looking at the different shapes of the items I'd collected. Juice lids from my friend Dennis over at the Black Market Outpost, however, helped really kick things off. But these little levers from a Star Wars Broken board game really inspired the look of the feet and the legs. Clearly, I'm taking some inspiration from the AT-ATs from the Empire Strikes Back movie, but you should also be able to see the leg positioning influence from Ed 209 from the RoboCop franchise. In addition to found pieces, I also wanted to incorporate some kit bashing, and I picked up this little tank model from HobbyCraft a little while ago, in the hope I would one day find a use. From a finer details perspective, it's a great kit with lots of small parts to use on a kit bash such as this. But there were some key pieces I could use on the main body of the mech, which you'll see a little later in the build. I spent what felt like ages looking at the shapes and deciding on the position, and some of the smaller pieces from the tank kit really helped sell the scale, as I dotted those around the main foot pad. But these little shelf studs were perfect for the toes. The more little pieces I added, the more inspired I became, and I found myself constantly going back to the tank kit to see if I could find any more awesome little pieces to use. Adding these pistons suggested functionality, which is important, of course, on any serious mech build. I used superglue, which seemed to work well when combining the various plastics and rubber I was using. Speaking of rubber, one of my favourite found parts of this mech build is the use of my old Gillette razors. The ribbing on the handles reads as metal, and when properly finished, works well on that Ed 209 style leg extension. In addition to superglue, I used a good amount of hot glue, as it provides a bit of volume to help pack out some of the joints. I make no excuses for the state of my tools. We may be old, but we work just fine. I made good use of some dry wall plugs to create what reads as hinges on the legs. The Lego Bionicle pieces are probably the biggest cheat, but I couldn't resist adding them to some kind of armoured joint. Having completed the main bulk of the legs, I moved on to the body. Using coffee pods and again juice lids, with an old PC fan, I created a good balance of detail. This will hopefully pop later in the weathering stage. Here's one of those pieces from the kit that I instantly saw a use for. I'm cutting out a curve to allow it to fit onto the coffee pod body I just made. This will act as an upper area where later I can attach some kind of pilot seat. Off camera, I also added one of my old razor attachments as a grill on front of the pilot area. I'd got hold of some leftover pieces from the half-size R2-D2 build, and these worked perfectly for a front eye of sorts. Once happy with those pieces, I attached them all together and then we had the main shape of the mech ready to go. Use of the airbrush on this build was purely for priming, and I started with matte black. As always, it's so satisfying how a primer combines everything together. You can see here I'm using a turntable. These things are pretty useful when it comes to airbrushing things. Although I don't have a paint booth set up, I do have a well ventilated workshop. I gotta say, for a heap of junk, she's got it where it counts. I saw more opportunities once I'd completed the main body, so I went back to the kit and I used the front of the tank to create a pilot seat. My 10-year-old son helped harvest some laptop keys, and these worked really well as pads on the seat. I mixed a lighter blue-grey primer and gave the whole mech a Zenithal highlight. This was from above, which reads as ambient occlusion around the various details. I stipple painted the pads using a colour similar to the Millennium Falcon bench, and then added powder pigments to create wear and tear of the pads. After some finer detailing, adding a few more little details from the kit bashing, all that was left to do was to add rust effects and some metal highlights. The metal highlights and rust just serve to add scale, use and a story to this mech. All that it needed now was a diorama to live in. When you go on your holidays, do you ever record video of landscapes as inspiration? Or 3D scan a rock sticking out of the sand? I do. I'm one of those people, and that's okay. I now know that this beautiful beach that I visited with my family in Wales was the inspiration for this diorama. The detailed layers on the rocks and the colours were just perfect for this fictional home of the mech. I'm using my tried and tested formula of insulation foam for crafting this diorama, but I needed something really believable to give the effect of layered rock.
Bella, we need to go and get some bark for my diorama.
Yeah.
Shall we go?
Yeah.
We need to put it in a bag. Have we got anything we can put it in? Oh, what have we got?
My Easter bag.
Perfect. Let's go. Well, Bella, we've finally got to the end of our little journey. Can we see any bark chippings we can use?
Here. Here's some bark.
Yeah, perfect.
That was good.
Yeah, brilliant. Anything else?
There.
Good, well done.
Can you move that nettle out the way?
Well, this?
Yeah.
Oh no. Ow, it stung me.
No, it didn't.
Oh, what's his name?
Spotty.
Spotty. Perfect. Great name. Well done.
Yeah.
What are those for?
Daddy's diorama.
Brilliant.
Here you go, Daddy.
Thank you, darling.
You know, I'm blessed to have such wonderful children. They enjoy helping Daddy on his silly adventures, but it makes each project all the more special. Anyway, on with the build. I laid out the bark wood chippings as if to create the bank of a dry riverbed. The natural layer structure of the wood gives the impression of brittle rock, and once painted and weathered, can be really effective. I saw this technique on Marklin of Sweden's YouTube channel. I've added a link in the description. You should definitely check out his content. Once these were all in place and I was happy with the look, I roughed up the surface of what I was now calling the riverbed with a wire brush. I'd used this Vallejo diorama texture effects mix on a previous diorama, and I loved the results then, so I used it again. I applied it to all of the horizontal surfaces using my finger and my palm, creating all kinds of details. The main goal here was to blend the wood chippings into the rest of the landscape. The scale of this diorama is suitable for 6-inch Star Wars figures, for example, so the texture scale is perfect for creating a sand stroke dirt texture. Very believable, very easy to apply. I also used a clay modelling tool to apply the mixture into gaps between the wood chippings, which helped bring it all together. Although you can make this kind of mix yourself fairly easily, there was quite a few elements to this diorama, and to be honest with you, having this ready mix just made the whole thing a lot easier. Okay guys, I had way too much fun here. I really got into the process of carving a rock cliff face, using a number of different images I'd taken whilst in Wales. What was amazing about this process was taking away from the foam and finding the rock. Doing it this way, as one piece to start with, ensured the carving and scale was consistent. I then cut them down to rock elements so I could give a slightly different angle to each when gluing them back together. When bringing this piece back together with the landscape, I used some more of the Vallejo ground texture to make it feel as if it was part of the landscape all along. I used the clay modelling tool to add some transitional details and added a few little pieces of the bark chippings to blend the rock tower in with the ground level area. After priming the whole diorama with black matte, I then set to and added a Zenithal highlight, again from above. This creates lots of shadow details and interesting areas. Love this. Taking inspiration from Boiler Hobby Time, I ordered a bunch of flexible lead filaments. These are 3 volt, and after a bit of a job soldering the 2 contacts, I managed to set this up just like some kind of electric fence protecting passers-by from a long fall off the cliff. Aesthetically, it was an opportunity to cast some light highlights on the landscape and the rock face. I had lots of fun sticking random things together to make some kind of antenna. Quick matte black and Zenithal highlight, and it worked a treat. Offset by the green lead, I hooked up to the same battery source as the fence. The final leg of this journey was to add some colour and vegetation to the scene. Again, I turned to the powder pigments as I love the application process so much, and you can achieve some excellent blends on the diorama. This location is arid, but I didn't want it to be completely void of colour, so I used these small pre-made shrubs and positioned them in key places on the environment to balance things out and create interesting spaces to look at. These leftover canopies from a previous build helped bring some colour to the rock face, and the random placement added to the narrative. Now would be a great time to thank all of my patrons for the support. You guys are amazing, and without you this show just wouldn't happen. You can check out Patreon and the files and plans available to you in the link in my description below. I went ahead and added some technology details here and there, and a figure, to make the scale of that mech really pop. Here's some review shots of the final mech in its place. If you like what you see, please do consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, you can check out our Patreon and all of the different files available via the link below. Following the last Rebel Base Build Community Challenge, it's time to check out this month's entries, where patrons and followers created their own Speeder Garage dioramas, and they are awesome. Let's check them out. First up is this amazing Unreal Engine project with custom 3D models and a virtual environment, all created by my good friend Philip Gilbert. Philip is my longest online friend going back 15 to 20 years. Back in the day we used to create custom Star Wars maps for Jedi Academy together. Good old days. You can check out Phil's awesome work on Sketchfab, where he offers many of his 3D files. Check out his links in the descriptions below. Next up is my good buddy Dennis from the Black Market Outpost. Due to some real life commitments, Dennis didn't quite make the deadline, but he sent me his latest work in progress screenshots, and I can already see this diorama is shaping up to be awesome. Dennis will be completing his diorama soon with a build video, so if you haven't already, get over to his channel and check it out. Next we have an awesome speeder rework from Dwayne C, otherwise known as Pirates of the Galaxy. This thing is badass. With its new Punisher theme, I enjoy his content on Instagram and YouTube. You should definitely go check out his socials in my descriptions below. Next, Mando Dave manages to create a whole town, it seems. This intricate and imaginative build is incredible. Check out the speeder area and outlying buildings. Thanks man for putting so much time and effort into your submission, it's awesome. And finally we have another awesome entry from Derek. Just look at the detail on this. So much story going on here, and an array of techniques to create this amazing diorama. Well, that was another fantastic community challenge. Thank you so much guys for taking part. I think the builds are amazing and I can't wait to see what you pull out of the bag on the next one. Thanks for watching guys. Until next time, take care.